Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Thomas Hamilton, and you are tuned in to the Bergnovinaian Sports Radio Network, the most decisive nation-states news network. Included in today's programming, a look at the Bergnovinaian Olympic preview for the games of the 6th Olympiad in Lasft Cafundeu, as well as live coverage of the twin tennis tournaments in Delaclavan, the Scotts Cup in its 7th edition, and the first World Tennis Team Championships. One quick note before we jump into our coverage. Today's broadcast is brought to you barely advertisement-free, thanks to Bergsbuck Incorporated. Bergsbuck Incorporated, wishing you a happy morning. To get a coffee or to open a franchise in your nation, please visit Bergbucks Incorporated's Global Economics page. Now, to the Bergnovinaian Olympic preview, starting with alphabetically aquatics. The aquatics division from Bergnovinaian is definitely one of the strong points of the delegation. Every competitor in that division trains rigorously, and we have several defending champions in that division. Ferris West and Julia Netter took gold in the women's synchronized 3-meter springboard last year at the games of the 5th Olympiad. They'll be back to compete and to defend their title. Jordan Soon and Lewis Olden also took the silver in the men's synchronized 3-meter springboard diving competition. Hopefully they'll be able to take the gold this year. Caroline North also took the bronze in the women's 3-meter springboard competition. Maybe she'll be able to earn a silver or perhaps even a gold this year. Harold Birch also took the bronze in the men's 3-meter springboard diving competition. He should be able to move up since he's trained 8 hours a day since the games of the 5th Olympiad. Now, moving on to swimming. There aren't many strong swimmers in the Bergnovinaian delegation, but Michael Porter is undoubtedly one of the best. He took bronze last year in the men's 1500-meter freestyle competition. He'll be doing the same this year. Another strong contender is David Phelps in the men's 100-meter butterfly. He could possibly take a gold. One of the strongest women competitors is also in the 100-meter butterfly, Lucinda del Castilla. Now, quickly moving on to water polo. Team competitions at the games of the 6th Olympiad will be incredibly tough. But perhaps Team Haruk or the women's team, Team College Station, could win in their water polo divisions. In synchronized swimming, the men's duet team of Peter Fillet and Donald Trans, might win a gold. Perhaps the Bergnovinaian National Olympic men's synchronized swimming team may also win one. The women's duet of Adriana Moore and Jessica McMillan could possibly win a gold. And the women's team, which is trained even more rigorously than the men's team, might also take a medal. Now, moving out of aquatics and into archery. The men's archery team, consisting of Mark Mellon, Marcus Grave, and Colin Dondon, might do very well in their individual competition. They usually do not compete well as a team, but since they're all trained very much, they could do well. The women's team of Leah Amon, Callie Honnett, and Kyla Bonks could also do very well both in individual and team competition. In athletics, Bergnovinaian has a whole range of excellent to mediocre performances, but we, of course, are looking at the excellent performances. Last year at the games of the 6th Olympiad, the team of Knott, Crandall, Porter, and Knopf took the silver in the men's 4x100-meter relay. They should probably do better this year and maybe even win the gold. Ingrid Pudineska took the gold last year in the women's high jump. She had an Olympic record of 2.11 meters. Badminton may have some mixed performances, but at least 2/3 of the team are well trained in both the women's and men's divisions as well as mixed doubles. In basketball, the Haruk Hawks are the men's team, and they will definitely do great. The College Station Aggies are the women's team, and they have trained even equally as rigorously as the men's team. In the men's versus women's competition, the men's team only won by 5 points at an 87-82 victory. Boxing doesn't really have any good competitors in it. But now moving on to cycling. In BMX, the team is quite solid. They will undoubtedly take at least 1 or 2 medals between the men's and the women's team. Mountain biking may not see that many medals, as only Brian Till and Claire O'Brien are going to be the best representatives from the men's and women's team respectively. Road cycling is definitely the strongest area for Bergnovinia. The men's road race as well as the men's time trial, along with the women's road race and the women's time trial, all have very strong competitors that compete rigorously and are going to be one of the fiercest delegations at this competition. Track cycling won't see many good competitors as they're all horrible. Moving on to equestrian now. The dressage, eventing, and jumping girls will all do excellent in individual and team competitions. I just know it. The fencing delegation also this year is surprisingly strong, all the way across from the épée, foil, and sabre in both the women's and men's teams. Bergnovinia will fare quite well in football, as the Bergnovinian Bears will represent the men's team and the Bergnovinian Bumblebees will be the women's team. They will undoubtedly do fantastic. In gymnastics, the team is incredibly strong, with some of the gymnastics medalists coming back from last year, such as Skylar Cloud, who took the silver in the men's floor exercise, and Stacey Whitman, who took the gold in the women's balance beam competition. The team will most likely qualify for the team competition. Rhythmic gymnastics and trampoline also have very strong competitors. In handsball, the Bergnovinian men's handball team, as well as the Bergnovinian women's handball team, will undoubtedly fare very well, as they have received great funding from the Bergnovian Olympic delegation to train for these games. Field hockey will see the Haruk Rams represent the men's, and the Lady Rams represent the women's. They also have received great funding. Judo will unlikely see any medals, as all of the team is amateurs. In modern pentathlon, Leonard Cabon as well as Nathan McNew will run in the men's, while Theresa Madarn and Grace Caden will run in the women's. They could probably earn a medal if they try hard. Rowing, there's not many strong competitors. In fact, there's none, really. In sailing, there are many strong competitors, such as Sean Stubbs, Tony Post, all across the board. They're just a great team. In shooting, there aren't many competitors, but 3 positions is oddly the thing to shoot in for the men's 50-meter rifle and the women's 50-meter rifle. Expect medals possibly there. Table tennis is sending a strong delegation this year. For men's singles and the men's team, it's Andy Skeens, Rodney Galloway, and Juan Lavie. Expect at least 1 medal there. The same goes for women's singles, with April Marrow, Tanya Salou, and Gloria Duke being the women's singles players and the women's team. Taekwondo has no real competitors. Now on to tennis, Bergnovinia's greatest sports. In men's singles, there's Yvonne Crush, Stanley Charles, Louis Knopf, and Howard Knopf. Louis Knopf and Howard Knopf took the bronze last year in the men's doubles competition. For women's singles, there's Elizabeth Brown and Gretchen Heidenheim, Alex Denham, and Nicole Williams. Brown and Heidenheim will play together in doubles, and Alex and Williams will play together in doubles as well. Williams took the silver last year in the tennis competition for singles. Now on to the triathlon. Trent Westwood, Greg Gray, and Silas Pensel will be running in the men's, while Allison Bates, Marybeth Watwood, and near miss from last competition Gail Westerland will be running in the women's. In volleyball, Joshua Fuller and Don Richardson will be competing in the men's beach volleyball event, with Josh Nash and Barack Oden, who've improved substantially, also competing. In the women's beach volleyball competition, Kevin Griffin and Aspen White will be competing, while Riley Lond and Sarah Porter will also be competing. Griffin and Aspen White took the gold last year, while Don Richardson took the silver last year. The indoor volleyball teams are also very strong. The recently formed men's and women's volleyball teams are highly ranked according to World Volleyball Expo ratings. They play relatively equally, and the men's team is ranked 5th because of the World Volleyball Expos that they've competed in. In weightlifting and wrestling, there are no strong competitors. Because I am strapped for time, I will cover demonstration events at a later date. But now we are going to move on to the results of the World Tennis Team Championships, as well as the 7th edition of the Scott Cup. In the Scott Cup, Bergnovinia was seeded 6th after qualification play-in. In the 3rd place playoff, they lost to the Delaclavan B team 3-0. Rocco Davis of Delaclavan B beat Yvonne Crush 6-1, 7-6, 5-7, 6-2. Samuela Vovella defeated Elizabeth Brown 6-4, 7-5. The Delaclavan team easily teamed up to down Crush and Brown 6-3, 6-0. Bergnovinia currently sits in the losers bracket at the World Tennis Team Championships. However, they might be able to play the winner of the winner's bracket because they're currently up 2-1 against Sage in the loser's bracket final. Jean-François Bomparte of Sage defeated Fuller in a 5-set match, winning 3-6, 6-3, 6-7, 6-4, 6-4. Pete Voulet defeated Emily Burgundy 6-4, 6-3, 3-6, 6-4. Crushing's Charles also teamed up to down Sean McCollum and Christopher Ponder 6-4, 4-6, 7-0, 0-6, 8-6. Thank you for tuning in to this edition of the Bergnovinaian Sports Radio Network, nation-state's most decisive and accurate sporting news network. For continued coverage of the Olympic Games, Scott Tournament, or other nation-state sports news, you can follow us at our webpage at bsrn.webs.com. For everyone at BSRN,